G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. I have a real interesting project here. I don't usually do raw stock to, or semi raw stock to a tree. Usually I'm working on more refined trees, but this is an amazing piece of stock here. It's huge, juniper procumbens most likely, or prostrata, the same kind of species that I've been working on lately in my other trees that belong to a client. This is another client tree, and he's given me the trust to work on this beast of a juniper. So where do we start? It is an absolute beast. It's got a massive amount of foliage, but we have to have a real close look at all the options and what the branching looks like and so on. And I've had a close look at this tree, been looking at it for a little bit. Really, we talk about what are the best points about the tree and what are the not so good points. So let's work on that. For me, Nabari, you start with the Nabari, trunk, branches, apex, they're the main things you look at. Nabari on these guys, I will try and, it's such a big tree, I don't know how much I'm going to swing it around, but it's an interesting bit of rootage in here. Probably can't see, but it's not too bad. Nothing spectacular on junipers, as you can expect. They're a little bit sticking out, but I think we can deal with that in the future. Then we get to the trunk. Now, I've had a look at both sides of this tree. Currently it's leaning over, but that's because these are prostrata or horizontalis type of junipers which grow like along the ground as ground covering, so they naturally grow down. It doesn't have to be that way, so just so you know, you see a lot of these trees upright, but in this case it's nicely moving down. Now I'm going to have to try and get in here with the camera. Might have to get closer. Alright, now I'm showing you how nice that trunk is. It's a fairly decent trunk. I could just get my hand around it. So it's a fairly chunky trunk. I could just get my hands around it. So it's about that thick. So really good. It's actually got some nice shari already on the trunk. If you can have a look there. Swing all the way. See the nice shari? It's interesting, it's a nice movement of a trunk, really cool. Now, I will try and flip it to the back side, or the other side, that I was looking at as well. Now what you'll see, if you can see in here, let me see, yeah, there you go. There's no shari, and it's a lot thinner. It doesn't look as thick as the other side. So, the other side's at the moment winning. I like the trunk on this side better. It's thicker, has the shari going for it. Really cool and interesting. Now, a couple things. I have a close look inside the tree. Now I'll probably just grab the camera and bring it around and show you rather than try and leave it there and show you, because it's really tricky. So give me a minute. So you can see the trunk that I'm talking about, really nice. See the shari happening, really quite good. Then we've got, I'm going to try and get in here and show you what's happening in here. You've got this really nice big fat branch that goes up, it goes back, you can probably just see it, not this one goes around under there and comes up and makes this big huge canopy of foliage. Then I've got this branch just happening at the back here, a lot further behind, comes around and actually sits on top of this branch, which is really annoying. And it's got all this huge amount of foliage here too. A little bit straight, uninteresting, not very nice. This branch, this long branch, has real interest and real movement. It goes backwards, sideways. I'll try and get in. See how it goes in? Look at that movement. It's got really good movement to come and form this huge canopy up here. Okay. Then we've got on the other side another interesting trunk. Ooh, jeez. See, there's another interesting trunk there, but it's a bit out of the way. Now, if I wanted to go a semi-cascade type of tree, and if I want to go semi-cascade using, leave the tree in that angle and use that branch I was talking about, the good one, bring it here. That one I would have to twist right around, which I probably can. That's one option. So I'm just going to put the camera back. So you saw a bit of detail there in the trunks. There's actually pretty much two big ones that twist up and around, and another one that's kind of crossing over another trunk and doesn't look that interesting. It's a bit straight. You can see where I'm going already when I talk like that. I don't think I need that branch, but we'll see what we can do, because it would be nice to move it out of the way, put it behind, but I don't think I can bend it. It's too heavy and too thick, and I don't think it's required. So I have a couple of ideas. Now, I still, as I said, love this trunk. I love this as the front, at least, as a minimum in here. But I'm still in two minds about what the tree is going to look like. If I go down with a semi-cascade, keep it like this, keep it at this angle, I'll bring that big trunk that I showed you that forms this foliage, I'll bring it right around and put it in here, so it's nice there. And I will have to try and bend that branch that was towards the back around. That's the hard bit. It's all the foliage going backwards, and it's really thick, and I'm not sure if I can get it around, but it's an option. Okay, so there's that trunk that I was talking about on that side before. It's all pointing to the back. I don't think I can't even move it a little bit. Barely can move it right now. So even with all the techniques, and I don't know how much I can move that around. I'll keep that in mind though. I'm not going to just discount it. Now I have another option which I'm really keen on, but it's a little bit drastic. So give me a second while I set it up. Okay, so what I've done is I've put it in another pot and tilted it quite excessively and made it more of an upright tree. Again, look at the movement. It actually looks stunning. It actually looks better than when it's lying down. So the other option is to get it upright and use that branch that I had before, that really good one on this side that goes backwards, form the whole tree in here, gin that huge big one and have it coming out of the foliage, and have them gin this one as well. So really I've got three branches I'm working with. Got a great trunk, three branches. One of the branches is annoying and it's crossing over another one, which I'll have to get rid of. So I think that's an easy one. I will style the tree or get rid of the things that I don't want first, and then open the tree up, and hopefully we can see the best tree possible. So ultimately I would love to see a more upright tree, because I think this is a phenomenal trunk and it looks better like that rather than slanting. I can imagine all this beautiful foliage that was in there brought down, encompassing and framing this beautiful trunk with that big other trunk ginned away. So that's what ultimately I would like to see. I know it's a bit extreme, but it's a really good option. The only other option I can see at the moment, as I said, is a semi-cascade, where I use that trunk that I was talking about up here, creates a canopy, and then have that as a cascading, and see if I can turn it around. So I've got two options, and I'm going to proceed with trying to do which one I think is right, and we'll proceed on how we go about it. So I'll start to clean this tree up. Nothing you need to really worry about, just cleaning up, getting rid of stuff. Probably clean up all the gin and shari as well, just simple things like that, but it's got to be done. And then I'll see what I end up coming up with, and we can maybe have a better look at the tree and see where it all comes together. Alright, hope that makes sense, but I want to explain my thinking behind the thought process of how you approach something like this. Changing angles, like I've lifted this right up right now and it looks really good. What's the best features of the tree? The best feature is that trunk with the shari on it. It's really thick at that spot. Then you've got some wicked interesting trunks that really go well, branches, they really go well and complement the trunk, so you really want to enhance that as well and use what you got. And again, juniper, deadwood, shari is good, so that's the other thing you need to think about. But I'm going to go and clean this up, get rid of things that I think are irrelevant or not needed, and we'll come back and have a look. Alright, so it's been a pretty bit of a challenge, to be honest, looking at the best angles and shape for this tree. I still haven't got it right for you guys, but I think it's somewhere around there. I actually want to try and create something more upright. This tree, if I kept it leant over, I would never be able to bring that lowest branch around. It's just too heavily bent. Even if I raffia it and so on, I wouldn't be confident that would live if I try and bend it heavily, and I'm not convinced it looks the best tree. I have an idea that I want to pursue, and I think it will bring out the best of this tree. That really nice branch that I was telling you about on this side, It's got that really nice big bend. I'm going to try and create a tree over this side with it, using bring it right down, compact it nice, create a little, almost a tree on its own in here, in this section here. And then I'm going to actually use that second branch. So there really is only 2 branches, remember, 2 main branches on this tree, 2 trunks almost. So I'm going to try and incorporate 2 trunks into the one design. So this trunk we're going to sit in here, and then this trunk I want to guy wire it up more because it's kind of falling back at the moment, up and put it into here. Having a look inside the trunks and everything, they're so twisted, all the branches, that it's really difficult to wire. So internally, so what I'm having, I can't really use copper when I have to go right inside and put there's no way I can wire it with copper, especially the heavy branches, because they're just so intertwined and so twisted up that I could never get the copper around it properly. So I'm using aluminium heavy gauge to do this work. It's a bit easier to manage and hold, and the amount of twists and bends I have to do to bring growth in will not work with copper. I'll need to use aluminium to do that. So I'll go off and start to work on this tree. I already attached a guy wire to this trunk anyway, just to see if it will bend, and I'm moving stuff out of the way. You see probably a couple of wires here and there, but yeah, just started the initial work. But I thought I'd tell you my thought process, and let's see if we can achieve. All right, everyone, so it's actually coming along really well, this tree. You can pretty much see the outline of all the work that I've done in around here, and it's coming along. Actually, I really like how it's coming along. Everything's kind of fitting in the right places, right spots, etc. So if you can't see clearly, I've pretty much, this is the section, and now I've got this little bit of an apex here that I wanted to kind of focus on for you guys, because you always ask me, how do you do your apexes? And here it is here, and I want to just concentrate on this area for you, just to show you what I do and how I use one branch and bring it around and try and kind of compact it and make a canopy, an apex. So I just want to show you that, guys. But other than that, you can start to see the levels. You start to see the beautiful trunk. You can see the trunk line the whole way. See the tree I've created on this side. We left a bit of a gin here. I'm going to have a bit more gin work soon. You could almost have, to be honest, just this tree, and then get rid of everything else. That's an option. Not my option, because that would be too much. I think there's a better tree by bringing this whole apex up here and creating a bigger tree. It really look good. If he doesn't like it, the owner, you can always come back to just this side, or we'll see. Okay, but I'm going to focus on doing the apex now. So I'm not sure how this is going to work. I didn't have anything high enough. The tree's up pretty high, but I'm going to try from this angle these days. I'll zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Rather than above, I'm going to show you from kind of underneath. So I've got this one branch here. This one branch will now form the apex. Now there's a big space for it. I've kept enough space. So always my preference is to go back, because going back shortens the tree. Then I know I've got some of these branches that will fit in here. They're looking good, that's looking good in here. So then I need to figure out how I'm going to come round, fill in this gap. So I start to come round. Round. And eventually the top bit maybe makes this first branch, the branch that goes in here. Might have to put a bit of wire on that one. Then I've got back branches, I've got some side ones. So then I start to think about, okay, how am I going to put these out and wire this out? Do I need to turn it more? Probably do. And I start to maneuver all the branches to go zigzagging and not flat, not straight, but zigzag. And the reason I zigzag it compacts it and makes it more thicker and more compact, I guess. Doesn't look like just thin little branches hanging out. And now I'll just keep going around, doing the whole, compacting the branches, bending them in and into each other. And then you start to, so by bending them in and in, you start to really compact the tree. I will need a bit more wire, unfortunately. Didn't put enough on there. Keep compacting, twisting, bending, put them in position. there's not just one branch that makes the apex. That's what I'm trying to get at. There's actually multiple branches that make up an apex. That's really quick, me, and it's already formed some sort of interesting apex. See how that's all compacted? Really coming nicely. Now I'm going to go in and clean out the bits and pieces. But look at the tree that I've created in here. Can you see that? You now see what I'm aiming for. You can have just that as the tree, to be honest. That's one idea I had originally, just having this part, and the rest is ginned. Maybe it will happen, I'm not sure. But if the other one doesn't work, then I'll go with this path. But it looks really amazing with just that. So could be the way to go. But I'm going to try and put the other big trunk up and into that area. All right, guys. But that's a little bit on how that apex gets created. Everything twists and twists and twists, and you really start to form it. Okay, everyone. So I'm at a important point in this tree's development. I have actually been able to guy wire the top as I was wanting to do more forward, so I've been able to do that and get it right around. That took a lot of work. A lot of guy wires are in there, a lot of pressure to get that all done, but that's looking okay now. You can still see the nicely developed tree on this side. Now my decision, I've actually put some heavy wire up onto these branches, so you can see they're kind of starting to fit in. It won't be that big, it will come down a lot. But my real dilemma right now is whether I have a full tree all the way using these lower branches, including them in the tree design. If I do that, I find I have a really full tree, and it doesn't explain the nice shari and gin, and it makes the trunk look smaller. So, do I then, the only other thing is, do I remove all these? And create from about, let me find where it is. I'll put a towel around it, hang on. So, or I remove those, or gin them, which I was expecting to, and I can see the gins in here and so on, and build the rest of the tree like that, and do that. This all has to be wide out and fanned out, and will actually be a bit wider out to there. But in this case, it's really tough because I think both are really good designs. I think with the bigger tree with all those branches, makes the trunk look smaller. By removing those, the trunk looks bigger. See the gins, see the gin work. This will be thinned out nicely. And it'll look good, but they both look really good. They both can be really good trees. Having a nice canopy here, finishing about here, makes sense. This is the lowest branch, should be the lowest. This is the higher branch that I'm building, so it should be the highest. So that's my thinking. I'd like to see that finished there, wide out. I think I'm going to have to do that, go down that path, and I think it will look good. But they're both really good options, and I'm really stuck right at the moment to figure out which one I'm going to do. So what I normally do, it's a good point, good question here for you guys, and good question or good answer that I have is, when I'm stuck, I then look at the rest of the tree and start to work on the rest of the tree. That's why I've wired the top, starting to work at the back, starting to at least put wire down on this important branch, keep that covered for now, and design the tree. So, but don't get rid of it yet. Do you see what I'm getting at? So, always have that in your mind. Always be cautious. I mean, unless you're a bonsai master who's trained in Japan for years and years and years, you'll know what to cut off, what not to, what looks the best. But I'm coming at it I'm one of you guys who 99% of us are not professionals, and we just do it for fun and enjoyment. So we really need to be considerate of where we're going to remove things or not remove things. That's important, because once you remove something that's been growing for 10-15 years, you're not going to get it back. I prefer to be cautious than remove that and not get it back. Alright guys, we'll see how we progress. Okay guys, so getting very close to getting to a point where we need to make a decision on this hidden branch in here, but I'm getting close to finishing the apex. I'm in this area now. A lot of these branches have got a lot of wire and so on, wired all this section up. It's all pretty good. I'll try and spin it so you can just see the angle that I've got the tree on. I don't think I've showed you this. So it's a pretty big angle. So you can see how the pot, I think you can just make it out. See how the pot is pretty much 45 degrees almost. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, 45 degrees. So you can see the angle change we're going to attempt. Hopefully you can see on this side. I'll try and move the tree over. A lot of the back branching has also been done. You need the back branching to give the tree depth. So trying to wire everything out, pad them all out so they're coming up really nice. Nice spaces here and there. This is a bit more compact towards the front, but that's good, that's what I want. Slowly bring it around again. Which the sheet. The front somewhere in there. So it looks pretty good. Oh, the angles will always play around, but you can see where I'm going with this tree. But I want to finish this off, finish this whole tree, and then look at this branch, because I'm not 100% sure. So we'll leave it to the end, and then we'll decide what we want to do. Okay everyone, so after a marathon wiring session, this is where I've ended up with the tree. I've still got these branches, I haven't got rid of them yet, I haven't made the decision. But I wanted to actually show you how it looks now. So it looks really good. I'm probably going to get rid of that gin. It doesn't look that good just by itself, but I'm going to wait to see if I need to create gins here before I get rid of anything. But I'm really not. It's come up really, really good. The beautiful trunk isn't clear. You got the pad starting to happen. Yeah, I'll clean up. Still got to do a bit of cleaning up and moving things around because I got knocked around. But it gives you an idea of how the tree looks. Really love it. But we're going to have a look at this and see if it actually fits and see if it actually looks any good. So if I take it off now, so you can see the total difference, but can I use at least the lower one? Can I use one of those? Yeah, we're going to have to try and play around and see if they're actually any use to having them, and whether I keep them. So at the moment, without them, it looks pretty good. But you never know. With them, could go well. Could be well, but I don't think so at the moment. I think it's nicer to have some gins in here to give it a bit more interest, some interest in this area rather than a branch. And we'll see what it looks like. I'll come back and show you my decision. Alright everyone, I have spent 25 hours on this tree, plus a bit more I think, thinking, contemplating it, but I am super happy with the result. It would have to be my best ever transformation from bonsai stock to a pretty much beautiful style tree. Usually you don't get it to this level when you have bonsai stock to this level, but I'm really happy with the result. It does look really nice standing up now. It's a really good sized tree. I'm a decent sized guy, so it's probably a metre tall, I'd say close to. Now I'll do a little spin around. The back's not too bad, it's a little bit wide still, you can see that, but I think eventually over time we can reduce that. Obviously the biggest challenge for the owner now is to get the root ball down further, because we have a new planting angle, so that's probably his biggest challenge. But we can get there quite well. Very windy unfortunately, but I'm really happy with the result. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It just came down to purely seeing the tree, seeing the best tree in this tree. We'll be able to bury it eventually to about that level, so the nabari will actually fix itself. We won't have these long ugly roots as well, so it will look really good with the nabari too. But the deadwood, yeah, it's really nice. There's some good deadwood pieces in here which we'll work on over time. I think that looks good. Not a fan of this one, but I'm going to leave it for him. He can decide. I'm probably going to take it off anyway before I get to him. But I'll probably remove that anyway, and it'll look heaps better. So I'll be taking that off. But I just want to show you roughly where it is. 25 hours worth of work plus a bit more, I reckon. Probably didn't count as much as I should have. Wire, lots of wire on this tree. I had to use aluminium, as I mentioned before, because the branches inside here are so twisted and contorted. There was no way I was going to get copper in and around those branches. It was much easier to get aluminium to do that. So that's really good. Other challenges, probably some of the branches at the back are a little bit heavy and wide, hard to get them right back in. But we'll get that slowly back in, pushing them back over time. Hopefully back budding as well. We'll get that done over time. It's a full tree, it's a full canopy tree. Got everything.
it's a ripper. I mean, in a couple of years, I reckon this will be in a show. I know the it needs to be going on bonsai pot. Probably take a year or two to get it. The root ball this side down, like it's quite high up. So get this side down, this side raised up. Nice deep pot first up, then slowly transition into a shallower pot. But I'm a huge fan of this tree. I hope he likes it. I haven't told him, haven't shown him yet, but I think he'll have to sit down after when he sees this. I brought the missus out and she just was dumbfounded. She couldn't believe it, and it's hard to impress her. But this was something else. So I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty proud of the result, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Easily, my favourite and best tree that I've done, from bonsai stock to nursery, from bonsai material stock to a really nice tree. Any questions, let me know. Happy to answer anything you got. So I'm glad I didn't just cut all that off. Remember, I was just planning to do this little tree here, which still looks really good. You can see it nicely sitting in there in between the bigger trees, so you can still see that quite nice. But there you go, guys. Very happy with the result, as you can tell. Pretty excited, and I hope to see many of you at the show coming up in a couple of weeks, in a week probably now. Well, by the time this video comes up, 14th to 15th of May, I'll be there in the sales area most likely, but I'll be there. Come say hello and we'll have a chat. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.